25 years is an incredibly long time to wait to get your revenge, but in this case, it's totally worth it. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. I finally get to talk about Enchanter's Bane. All kinds of other stuff kept coming up. In fact, the video about Gatherer, where I was ranting about how awful Gatherer is because of this video. Trying to figure out the information that I needed using Gatherer was obnoxious. Particular kinds of searches with that program are a nightmare. But regardless, we finally get to talk about Enchanter's Bane. This card is really exciting to me. Let's throw it up on the screen. We'll talk about it here. One red, one colorless enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, target enchantment deals damage equal to its converted mana cost to its control unless that player sacrifices it. And the flavor text says, those who fail to respect power will soon be consumed by it. So to me, what we have here, up here on the hill is a white-blue control mage in the middle of a circle of protection. So now we're going to step back and talk about circles of protection for those of you who don't know what they are, because this is something that's really old school and you need this information to understand why this card is so cool. So, starting out at the very dawn of Magic, there was a cycle of circles, all right, a circle cycle. So we had one for every color. They all cost one white and one colorless, and for one white mana they activated and would prevent all damage from one source of a color of, not of a color of your choice, but of the color of the circle. So if it's a circle black, one mana will prevent all damage from a black source. Back in the day, color screws came in hard, and these circle of protections were obviously very difficult to work around for certain colors. An interesting note actually about the circles, now that we're talking about them, when they did the original cycle, they accidentally left circle black out of alpha, which is funny because they totally didn't forget to put Gloom in. And look at Gloom. Gloom shows you just how brutal old color screw cards are. Oh my god, Gloom's a pretty decent answer to Circle of Protection, in all honesty. It makes them pretty difficult to use, right? And red had answers like, I can destroy all your planes with flash fire. So I can destroy your planes, but if you're playing two colors, you still have that or artifact sources to produce mana. So it wasn't nearly as good a response as Gloom. And white did later on get Anarchy, which can destroy, red did later on get Anarchy, which is a very chaotic red way to get rid of circles. But it's also like a blanket wrath, and if you're playing red-white, it doesn't work quite the same way. But circular protections are something that frustrated a lot of Magic players back in the day. Not me, baby! I loved circles of protection because I'm a defensive style player. So I love being able to put those down and go, now I'm going to sit back and see what you can do. I'm going to study your strengths and your weaknesses, and then I'm going to come in and dismantle you. That's basically how I rolled. So I loved the circle of protections. Now red, throughout the history of Magic, has always had a big problem dealing with enchantments. Different colors have different weaknesses, right? So red is chaos, white is order, the circles and the enchantments are like order being instilled on chaos, and red doesn't have a lot of good answers to circle of protections. And you can see that red specifically has, on the color pie, it's had the ability to remove enchantments taken fully away from it. And you can see that easily on older cards like Wild Swing, from like the Shadowmoor era, where it's basically, it'll destroy random permanents, but it will not target an enchantment. And they did the same thing actually even nowadays. You can see that they're still clinging to that, because Dominaria, you've got haphazard bombardment, right? And that one also can't target enchantments. So red being able to directly target enchantments is not normal for the color. A card that just says target enchantment on a red card is really, really rare. This might be the only one. I can't remember. I did the original search on that part of it a few days ago. There may be more, but it's so rare. Anyways, when you look at this artwork, it's beautiful the way it conveys the concept of the card, right? At the beginning of your end step, you get to pick an enchantment, and that enchantment's going to deal damage equal to the casting cost of the enchantment to the player who controls that enchantment unless they sacrifice it. So I love the fact that it costs a red and a colorless, the same way a circle costs a white and a colorless. This, to me, shows a wizard in a circle of protection, and the art has done such a great job of conveying the unassailable position, because not only is this mage high atop some kind of mountain peak in a circle of protection, but look at the area around it. It's all coastal and rocky, very foreboding. You see no signs of life anywhere, right? And if you were trying to land a ship here or invade or anything, it will be difficult to get at this mage. This is showing that you're in that circle of protection, you're in that safe zone, right? But the artwork shows that even in your most safe place, I can get to you. In your home, I can hit you in your home. You heard the expression, it hit close to home? Well, that's because if you get attacked in your home, something happens in your home, that's way more jarring to you because that's where you feel safe, and that defies expectations, right? You have a place where you feel safe at home, where it's like, okay, I'm at my home, I'm not going to get attacked, this is where I can eat and live my life. So that kind of concept is transmitted here. I mean, this wizard, before Enchanter's Bane come along, remember, we're talking about 25 years of the game before this existed. So these mages using circles of protection are very used to there not being many ways to get around it. I mean, you need something like an artifact, an Evanrol's Disc, Oblivion Stone, something to wipe the board, something that they can see coming. This is sneaky, and it's also very red. I really enjoy the flavor behind this. It taps into that red concept of it can't directly destroy the enchantment. It can't just go, boom, I want that enchantment gone. What it can do is make you uncomfortable if you don't do what they want. It's the same kind of concept that they did with old school cards like Book Burning from Judgment, where it's like, yo, mill 6 cards off your deck or take 6 damage. So it's like, do what I want or get hurt. That's Red's way of operating. On top of that, this enchantment even has a red feel to it. If you look at the circles of protection, like look at Circle Black. Circle Black has a very ordered circle to it, right? It's very uniform, very ordered, and the circle here conveyed in this artwork, again, is very ordered here, but you can see the magic being pulled apart chaotically when it's being turned against the mage here as the blue ribbons of magical energy turn into red and like come into the fire. You can see the chaotic, disorderly nature of it. It feels very red. Also, it makes the enchantment feel almost like a non-sentient hungering beast, because the thing is when there are no enchantments left, it will turn on itself even, or your enchantments. Like, this isn't you may or whatever. You always have to pick an enchantment. So if Enchanter's Bane has eaten all the other enchantments, it'll even turn on itself. It's like a ravening beast that just wants to consume enchantment after enchantment. It's just a red mage's chaotic, furious, like impotent rage turned into magic that eats other magic. It's conceptually, it's incredibly cool. And the idea, like, this mage is funneling power into his circle of protection, and as it's happening, that magic is being converted. And if this is like a circle red or a circle blue or anything like that, right, the damage is being dealt by the enchantment. Circles of protection are white. So if you have a circle protection red out and it's being targeted by this, you'll take 2 damage each turn trying to keep that circle because it's the circle damaging you. I love this concept where it's basically like the idea is it hijacks the magic in the enchantment, turns it into a violent threat against the wizard that he's not expecting. Like, think about this. This guy is sitting here. He's powering up the circle. The magic is flowing into it. All of a sudden, something that he has never seen happen before. The magic just starts whipping and coalescing up into the air, and boom, and it starts whipping down and turning into pure flame, and you can feel the heat in the air. You can even see the light from the heat actually on the other side of the circle. You can see the cool blues on the one side, but if you look directly under the flaming side, you can see it even lighting up the mountainside. So you've got this intense pinpointing lance of flame coming in, and the wizard has a split-second decision of either allowing that lance of flame to like blast into him or quickly just dispelling his enchantment, just being like, just making it go away so that there's nothing there to blast into him. Now that conceptually is incredible. It feels like it's such an amazing, like almost symmetrical answer to circles of protection, because that's white instilling order and going, things are going to be the way that I say. And this is red going, here's chaos, and me using pure chaos to instill my will. It's beautiful. It's this beautiful, just complete contrast between the two. I absolutely adore this, and I like that the card has a built-in, like, red shouldn't have easy access to enchantment destruction. This is conditional enchantment destruction. And it's something that will destroy itself in the end, right? Like, you can't just put this out on the second turn and it will continually destroy enchantments, because if it's the only thing out, you have to choose to give up. If you're at 20 life and you're taking 2 damage a turn, you have to give up 10% of your life to keep this thing around. So I like this a lot conceptually as a card. It's It's really well done. This is so cool. A circular protection being turned against its user. The concept of just like you that to me looks like the perfect unassailable position. You get yourself up on like a rocky mountaintop, and you can see that position has been used before, because you can see how perfectly like ground down and flattened the area is for that circle. So that is getting hit where they live. I absolutely adore this card. So those are my feelings on it, guys. Let me know what you think about this flavorful card, and I'll see you later.
Together, we are the sixth color of magic.